Any women femmes here that are adamant about never living with a man? Since living with my ex-boyfriend, I vowed to myself to never live with a ever again in my life. While this sounds extreme, let me share some grievances. You are almost always placed in a mother role. Regardless if you have children, and if you do, it's like having another child to take care of. This easily turns into a nagging resentment type of dynamic, where the blame is placed on you to essentially be responsible for a grown man's every action. And if that grown man is also emotionally stunted, you become responsible for teaching him how to navigate and process his feelings. Essentially, you are apologizing to yourself. Lack of individual space and/or personal time. He hated my friends and I didn't enjoy his. He would scream while playing video games as I studied. Can't walk around freely showing too much skin without being grabbed on, thinking that I am automatically in the mood for sex. These examples are very specific to my experience and obviously not all men. But I do not have enough faith in men to enjoy living with one now or in the future. I just wanted to discuss this because I came home from a very hard day of work and interview. Directly after work to my shared apartment, only to find my roommate's boyfriend playing video games in the living room despite the dirty kitchen and full sink of dishes. Edit. I've been reading everyone's replies and I love all of the solidarity. I also find it funny how mad and desperate the men are in the comments. Like it's such a pity to not live with a man. I am clearly missing out so much. I wish everyone could have my experience sharing a living space with a man who cooks, cleans, provides emotional support, never mansplains, admits when he's wrong or doesn't know something, and never uses anger as an excuse to hurt anyone. He delights in getting random nice things for people, and is a mama's boy without the hang-ups. He is straight and hates people like Andrew Tate. He sounds fake on paper, but he's real and will forever keep me from saying no men. I've been on my own since 2000 when my husband died. I knew I absolutely did not want a life with another man, and once I raised my kids I've had my house to myself. I couldn't live any other way. But not for any of these reasons. BF is great. I just like my space. I also own my home and common laws can be wonky here and I rather not lose it in a breakup. I've lived alone for 7 years now and that is extremely unlikely to change anytime soon. Yes, I tried it twice and was a slow learner. I love living alone, hate setting an alarm, and enjoy other people's pet cats but never want to live with one. Not moving in together lessens the chance of these being deal breakers. Yes, since throwing him out, I've suddenly realized I have fallen in love with loneliness. The freedom I feel deep in my soul is very precious to me. I'm no longer prepared to give that up for something as uncompromising as a man. Absolutely. I lived with a man for 10 years. He was fairly clean and organized, but my hours were spent putting stuff back in their place or straightening stuff. I wore headphones to listen to my music and cleaned toothpaste splatters from the bathroom mirror. He took over the best places in the closet. He was inconsiderate and selfish. I have lived alone for the past 5 years. Everything is beautiful, clean and cozy, and I will not share my space with a man ever again. If I didn't have my current partner, I'd be done with it. Solo living only. No more messes to clean up or half-baked home projects to step over that they never finished. Me, especially for the reasons listed. Especially for being grabbed and groped like a piece of meat in my own house, being comfortable. Never again. Never. My husband and I have our own bedrooms we take turns sleeping over. I love having my own space. So does he. I have lived alone for 10 plus years and absolutely love it. It helps that I am an introvert and people tire me. I will never live with a man again. The domestic and emotional labor expected of women is exhausting. Yes, I feel the same way. Unless the man is a cat, I'd have one of those again, lol. I've been on my own since late 2017 and I gotta say I love my alone time. I've lived with 2 men in my life, excluding my dad in childhood. I will never do it again. For the reasons you mentioned, plus I desperately need my own space for sensory reasons or I might become murderous. I haven't lived with a man since I got divorced 17 years ago. I couldn't do it now. My ex did a total Jekyll and Hyde thing and I would never trust a man to be who he claims he is. He turned out to be paranoid, possessive, and suspicious. Boundary stomping was his favorite pastime. I won't bore you with all the details, but it cured me of ever doing that again. I'll keep my own place. No desire to commingle myself or my assets, nor to mother emotionally needy men. To be fair, I don't want to live with anyone ever again. I've lived alone too long to go back. I refuse to cohabitate. Absolutely refuse. No one is fitting in this tiny house except me and a dog. Just don't have any room for anyone else. I've buried 2 husbands. And I will never cohabitate again. My boyfriend doesn't even know where I live exactly. And we've been dating for years. I really appreciate my private space. I like sitting around my house wearing whatever and not looking cute. If I want to blast punk rock and mop, nobody can complain. Never. Ever again. But I fixed my picker. I also only date men who never wish to live together. Marry. I've lived alone for 20 years now. The idea of living with another person makes my skin crawl. I don't care that I have to pay all the bills, do all the chores and check out all the creepy noises at night. Better than having to deal with another person in my space. Never again. Can't wait to have my own space, no matter how small. Also the safety aspects. I can't tell you how many times my ex threw the get out of my house line. During fights, face with rolling eyes. Being in charge of my own safe and secure housing is priceless. I live with my cis male homosexual housemate and he is just a total slob. We've had arguments over him putting the load on me all the time. Classic, you didn't tell me to do it. And okay. Well, write it down for me and I'll get around to it. And okay. Well, let me know a few days in advance if you need stuff done. And yes, but I have ADHD. Great. Okay. But I don't care. Just do your part. First thing he does of a morning. Gets up and plays video games until he goes to work or goes on a grindr date. It's infuriating. At this point I've lived alone so long, IDK if I would ever be able to live with someone. It's been 10 years since I've lived with a man and it just comes down to the fact that I have more free time and more peace when I live alone. Those things make up for any money I would save living with someone else. And honestly, I actually save more money living alone because I can be frugal without guilt. My ex always wanted to buy expensive stuff in my opinion, and I wouldn't usually give in to avoid a fight. Hi, that's me. Grew up with dudes in my home and I have no patience or time for piss on the bathroom floor and dirty drawers on the floor. My partner is perfect and I'm sure it would be great to live with him. But he lives 3 blocks away, so whatever. I don't have absolutes unless you count that I absolutely would only live with a man who made my life equitably easier. To balance how I would intend to make his life easier. But to your point, I know the odds. So,